Good day, everyone. Today, everything that we will talk about is conditionals. What do we mean by zero, first, second, and third? We will discuss it one by one. This lesson is a bit confusing, so make sure to keep your focus. Let us now begin. What is conditional? Conditionals are used to talk about possible or imaginary situations. Conditional sentences let us express things that might or could have happened, could still happen, always happen, or wishes to happen in specific circumstances. The word condition means situation or circumstance. If a particular condition is true, then a particular result happens. A conditional sentence has two parts: conditional clause or the if clause, and the main clause. They're usually separated by a comma. Let's have this example. If you don't study, you will fail. If you don't study is the if clause, and our main clause is you will fail. Conditionals describe the result of a certain condition. The if clause or the dependent clause in this sentence tells you the condition if you don't study. And the main clause, which is the independent clause, tells you the result, you will fail. The order of clauses does not change the meaning, so you can also say you will fail if you don't study. The meaning is still the same. Types of conditional sentences. Let's start with zero conditional. We use this so-called zero conditional when the result of the condition is always true, like a scientific fact. Let's have these examples. If you don't water flowers, they die. If you have a headache, stop watching TV. If we will look at the structure, we can observe that in the if clause, the verb is in present simple form. Don't water. Have. While in the main clause, the verb is also in the simple present form in the first sentence, while in the second sentence, it is in imperative form. So in this lesson, we are like having a review also on subject-verb agreement. And always remember that in zero conditional, we express a general truth or we give advice. Let's now move to the next one, first conditional. In this type, we are talking about the future. We are thinking about a particular condition or situation in the future and the result of this condition. There is a real possibility that this condition will happen. Let's have the following examples. If the weather is nice, we will go for a walk. If you don't apologize, she will never trust you again. As you can see, the verb in the if clause is in present simple form. Is and don't apologize. While in the main clause, it is in future simple, or the use of the word will. And always remember that when we use the word will, it is always followed by the base form of the verb. So, will go and not will goes or will went. Will never trust, not will never trusted, or will never trust. So always remember that first conditional refers to the present and future. It expresses possible condition and its probable result in the future. Let's move on to the next one, which is the second conditional. Let's have first this situation. Jack wants to buy a house, but he can't do this because he doesn't have any money. If I had a lot of money, I would buy a big house. This sentence explains that only if he had the money, he would buy a big house. But reality says that he doesn't have the money. So will he be able to buy a big house? Of course not. So we can see that this sentence expresses a situation which is not possible to happen. The same with this situation. Susan wants to call Paul, but she can't do this because she doesn't know his number. If I knew his number, I would call him. Susan only wishes to call Paul, but unfortunately she doesn't have his number, so it would be impossible for her to do so. So the second conditional is like the first conditional. We're still thinking about the future. We're thinking about a particular condition in the future and the result of this condition. But there is not a real possibility that this condition will happen. For example, if I had a lot of money, I would buy a big house. If I knew his number, I would call him. Now, looking at the structure, we can see that in if clause, the verb is in simple past tense, while the main clause uses the word would plus the verb in base form. Again, we say it as would buy or would call, and not would buys or would bought or would calls or would called. Always remember that second conditional refers to the present and future. It expresses an unreal situation and its probable result. The situation or condition is improbable, impossible, imaginary, or contrary to known facts. Just think it this way. No money, no big house, but maybe you will have enough money for it in the future. So you can think about buying a big house someday like a dream. The chance of turning it into reality is still far. Let's now compare first and second conditional. What's the difference between the two aside from the structure of the verbs? In this sentence, if John runs fast, he will win the race. This is still possible to happen. While in this sentence, if John ran fast, he would win the race. Only if John ran fast, he would win. But unfortunately, he doesn't run fast in reality, so this is unlikely to happen. So take note of the difference between the two. Both conditionals refer to the present and future. The difference is about probability and not time. In first conditional is always about real and possible situations, while second conditional is always about situations that are unlikely to happen. Let's move on to the next one, the third conditional. Let's go back to this situation. Jack wanted to buy a house last year, but he couldn't do that because he didn't have any money. If I had had a lot of money, I would have bought a big house. As you can see, there is an emphasis on the time, which is last year, which is already in the past. The first conditional and second conditionals talk about the future, while the third conditional, we talk about the past. We talk about a condition in the past that did not happen. That is why there is no possibility for this condition. The third conditional is also like a dream, but with no possibility of the dream coming true. The same with this situation. Yesterday, Susan wanted to call Paul, but she couldn't do that because she didn't know his number. If I had known his number, I would have called him. Now let's have these examples. If I had had a lot of money, I would have bought a big house. If I had known his number, I would have called him. If we will look at the structure, in the if clause, the verb is in simple past perfect form. What do we mean by it? It is the use of the word had plus verb in past participle form. What do we mean by past participle? Past participle refers to an action that was started and completed entirely in the past. It is the third principal part of the verb, created by adding ed or the or t to the base form of a regular verb. If you still need to have a review on past participle, you can check out a separate video on it. You can see the link in the description box. So in our sentence, we have had from the word have. Its past participle is had. So if we put it together, the word had plus the past participle of have, which is had, it will be had. It may sound weird, but it's right. And also had known from the word know. Its past tense is knew, and its past participle is known. Now, on the other side, in the main clause, we use would have plus verb again in past participle form. So we have would have bought and not would have buy or would have buys. We also have would have called and not would have call or would have calls. So take note that third conditional refers to the past and it is not based on facts. It expresses a situation which is contrary to reality in the past. Let's now get things clear between second and third conditional. What's the difference between the two aside from the structure of the verbs? Let's have this sentence. If I saw a car accident, I would call an ambulance. It is an example of a second conditional sentence. It implies there that there's no accident now, which is in reality, so that is unlikely to happen. Let's have the next sentence, which is a third conditional. If I had seen a car accident, I would have called an ambulance. So in reality, the speaker didn't see any accident maybe yesterday or the other day or whenever in the past. So this is contrary to the fact in the past. So between second and third conditional, the difference is about time. Both are unlikely to happen, but second conditional refers to the present and future, while third conditional refers to the past situations. So how do all this differ in context? Let's start first with zero conditional. If you heat ice, it melts. It states general truth or shows certainty. The condition is real, and the result is inevitable. While in first conditional, if he drives carefully, he will avoid the accident tomorrow. The condition is possible to happen, and the result is probable, meaning something that is expected. So in short, it is possible to happen. However, in second conditional, if he drove carefully, he would avoid the accident today. The condition is hypothetical, or the possibility is unreal. The result may be possible, but since the condition is just something that what if this happened, but in reality it didn't, so still it is unlikely to happen. And lastly, in third conditional, if he had driven carefully, he would have avoided the accident yesterday. The condition is already expired in the past, or there is no possibility at all. And the result is possible in the past, but in real sense, it is really unlikely to happen, whether in the past or even and most especially in present. How about their differences in structure? This table sums it up. Let me give you a little help on how to easily remember it, since I know that it's really confusing as in. So let's have this chant, just follow me. We will use the following as our keyword so that we would easily remember it. Let's have for the if clause, present, present, past, had. Again, present, present, past, had. Present, present, past, had. Let's have for the main clause, present, will, would have. Present will, would have. Present will, would have. Let's do it together. Present, present, past, had. Present, present, past, had. Present will, would have. Present will, would have. Let's do it one more time. Present, present, past, had. Present, present, past, had. Present will, would have. Present will, would have. Let's do it one last time. Present, present, past, had. Present, present, past, had. Present will, would have. Present will, would have. There you go. Now, to summarize everything, let's take a closer look at this table. With regards to the percentages, do not take the 50% and 10% too literally. They're just to help you. For zero conditional, the probability of it to happen is 100% anytime. For first conditional, the probability may be only 50%, but still it is possible to happen. Take note of the time in the future. For second conditional, there really is a small chance for it to happen in the future. It may only be 10% or even less. And for third conditional, there really is no chance for it to happen, and it's in the past. Now, before we end, let's try first to do this activity. Identify the conditionals used in each sentence. Tell whether it is 0, first, second, or third. Let's have the first one. If I had had time, I would have gone to the football match. Answer: third conditional. Next. If I have time, I will visit you. Answer: first conditional. If people eat too much, they get fat. Answer: zero conditional. If I had more time, I would travel the world. Answer: second conditional. If I found her address, I would send her an invitation. Answer: second conditional. If I had taken French in high school, I would have more job opportunities. Answer: third conditional. If I am late, my father takes me to school. Answer: zero conditional. If it rains, we will stay at home. Answer: first conditional. If he had known that, he would have decided differently. Answer: third conditional. If he studied more, he would pass the exam. Answer: second conditional. And that ends our lesson. See you next time.